As after a further review, I think you're responsible for breaking the transmission.
No, I don't break anything.
I know, that's the point. Laz over here pretty much gets away scot-free, no problems, and I get blamed for breaking everything. No, you broke it. So that's what we're doing today.
I did see somebody said I money shifted third. I guess that is what happened.
We kind of went through everything. We're going to change this intake manifold out. Old Josh came through again. What's up there, Jimmy?
Going back to plastic?
Going back to the plastic. And not a Dorman. So we got this car with a Dorman, and apparently that's not the way to go. Kind of new to the Ford thing, and when we put that on there, I think we did lose about 20 or 25 horsepower. Put this one on there. Obviously this one does heat soak, but I think that the solution is going to be that guy right there. And put in a new, what is it, 4R70W? There we go. Nailed it. Yes. Hold on, we got one more thing. We wanted to be able to get this thing to 60 foot just a little bit better. I mean, realistically, we were on bald tires. You know, these tires were literally about to come apart. Can we show them like what one do we have the worst one off? Is that what it looks like?
I don't know if it's the worst.
Okay.
Can't show this part yet.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, these survived a lot of burnouts, but that's kind of what we were working with here. And it kind of hit us that, hey, that right there has the same bolt pattern as what we had. So we did a real quick little throw on there, and I think
they look so cute back there.
Yeah. So a long time ago, we'd taken this to the track. We had a 28-inch tall tire on it, and that was just, no, it's 60-footed worse. And it doesn't even have the guts to like really blow the tire off down low. But if we put the sticky one that we have on there, or we could take Cater Tots tires off there, how much smaller of a tire? It's probably like 1.5 inches or something like that. Maybe 2 inches.
Just roll it over there. Oh,
I think this is going to be the cheapest possible way to do this for right now. Oh, loads better.
That's a fist.
Yeah, it's a solid like 4 inches difference or something, huh? Well, heck yeah, I think we should definitely be able to get a better 60 foot with that.
As long as the diff doesn't scrape.
Ooh, hadn't really thought about that.
I'd say the exhaust hangs low, but that's all at the front bumper.
Yeah. I think it's going to be like that pit bulling, you know?
I wonder if the auto level is going to make up for it sitting low in the back.
I don't even know if that still works.
It does. And remember, turn your switch off when you raise them off the ground or it'll blow out the bags.
I always forget about that. All right, well, we're going to tackle this guy right here. We got our Ford GT500 injectors in there, and you know what? The weather was so good the other day, we didn't check what the boost was, but we probably should. I was thinking we should turn it up before we go back to the track, see if we can get a hold of Si before we go, but kind of is what it is. We're going to have to play around with the boost pump, but we're improving this project little by little, and it's so much fun, dude.
You go in there where George was like just dialing the boost pump in, just trying to get the car to go a little bit faster?
Yeah. And it did pretty much work, so let's go do this, though. All right, fellas, we just given this thing a little once over, kind of looking over everything. This is the first time this has been on the lift since probably we did the trans, or was it the turbo?
Turbo. We did the trans first, then we did the turbo.
Gotcha. So yeah, it's been like, yeah, that's right. The top end fitting is leaking.
Yeah, it's wet all the way up to the top.
I mean, I can definitely see that the bottom one and everything else here is all covered. And we got a big pan on this guy, so we're going to change out this pan, and we're still going to keep the converter that we have for right now. We may throw a different converter in there. We'll just have to see how this all lines out there. So we're going to drain some coolant out of this thing and be able to pull the rest of that intake manifold off. we got a couple of dilemmas here. That right there is off of a slightly newer Crown Vic right there. What do you say, Josh? Was it 06? 06, okay. Now, this guy right here has our OEM fuel rail. However, we have modified this in order to be able to have a return there. So Laz drilled and tapped that guy so that we could do that. Now, we don't seem to be able to have that type of boss there. This fuel rail looks like it does have quite a bit more volume than that other fuel rail. So we're gonna have to kind of talk this out and figure out what we're gonna do here.
Or we figure out a way to make the aftermarket ones work.
Look at that though, dude. That's like a flimsy, we could freaking do a return off of that.
Just tee it in.
Yeah, I mean.
Hose clamps.
Yeah, realistically. All right, let's get that thing out of there. Couple of Ford newbies breaking some stuff. Supposed to take the coils out, but dude,
Looked all nice and self-contained.
oh my gosh.
Swap your intake, coils, fuel rails, injectors, everything at one time.
Wow, that actually feels almost like the same weight. That's crazy. I thought it was gonna be like many pounds different. This thing comes with a heat shield on the bottom, which I do like that idea. Pretty good, but we broke some.
Fill this thing up with Mylar in there to...
It's a good idea. It's a great idea. All right, well, not looking bad. Our cylinder head look pretty good, man. Patriot ported heads.
One of the biggest things about this intake manifold is that it's aluminum, and we really don't like the heat. We really don't like the heat soaking aspect of it. So, going to this next intake manifold hopefully will not only flow better, but also retain less heat and thus average more power. Now, this intake manifold is really, really dirty, and Laz has a thing. Laz doesn't like dirty. Sometimes he goes through these spells where he just cleans everything, and entirely too much, and more than what is necessary, but that's Laz, and it's a good thing because we're kind of all slobs. Laz is going to clean all the injectors, get all the coils out of there, peel out the thermostat, swap it over to the new intake manifold. Inspecting both of the fuel rails. Change out the gaskets. Super clean the intake manifold, blow it off. And test fit the new fuel rails. All while talking on the telephone.
Hey, dude, this looks a ton better. I mean, it's all cleaned up. You spent a good amount of time cleaning it
It's
up.
got possibilities to it.
Yeah.
So we're used to the LS fuel rails, and they always have like a mounting, either a bolt hole through here where you can run a little bracket off of, and this we're kind of confused by it having nothing on it. Don't know if they have a specific clamshell mount that kind of goes over this and just presses down the fuel rail, but I think we can come up with something.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, honestly, this looks so simple in the fact that we can almost just kind of...
Flat stock would hold
Yeah,
it.
honestly, yeah, a washer and flat stock, and we're probably right about there.
All right, so you need to run this guy for your fuel pressure.
Yeah.
And I was kind of thinking that we could do something with this and maybe drill this out to where these O-rings will seat in there
Yeah.
and actually just run this right off the fuel rail, just kind of like factory.
Reason why we're trying to change over fuel rails is that when we were tuning it and a bunch of people have watched the videos and been like, why is the thing breaking up, and so on and so forth. Well, we've had a major drop in fuel pressure, and Cy, our Ford tuner for that, believed that it was the fuel rails. Now, we have since turned up our booster pump a lot, and that seems to have helped quite a bit. Of course, that is going to flood the fuel system with more fuel, but if we can also aid in that by addressing this, hopefully we can just make that problem go away by doing what we're doing here. So go ahead.
You say cover all your bases or something?
Yeah, very small fuel rail. Now, initially when we were looking at the other rail, that one looks quite a bit bigger. However, there's kind of more problems, and I don't think that that's necessarily going to give us what we want. So going with this aftermarket fuel rail looks like that is going to be the best overall solution.
We're gonna have to drill and tap for your coolant temp sensor. Swap the thermostat over and get it back on.
Awesome, make it happen.
little sandwich bracket here for the fuel pressure sensor for the tuning, and then fuel rail clamp bracket since we don't have any other way to tie them down. And pet peeve part of mine is now I got to make 3 more that match that one exactly. All right, so not a bad start here. I had used these on my swag brake, bent them up a little bit, and then just kind of matched them up and rolled them in the old school vise. And now I trim them down the sides, and they're pretty close to being an overlay.
All right, so it's time to change over the trans in the converter, and that one looks so much better. But right here, we actually did have our converter. It wasn't the color that we thought. We looked up some part numbers on it. Turns out it is a TransStar, like 2100 to 2500. It's kind of funny because I was like, yeah, we just foot braked it up to 2100. Does okay for us. We could probably do a heck of a lot better if we had like a, you know, something like what is in George's truck. It was night and day difference. So this one came out of one of the cars from the Freedom 500, and
This is a police car edition.
yeah, and I mean, it's fresh. It looks like it's definitely been repainted. So somebody, I don't know if they're pulling a fast one or if we got a decent one, but hopefully that guy's going to go in there and get a little bit better longevity than this guy right here did. All right, quick little update. We got the trans up in there. Intake manifold is on. So Laz, we got to do a -6 tomorrow in order to finish this thing up. So we're going to need to maybe run to the parts store.
We're just extending the return like 20 inches. Like, it's not that bad.
Yeah, so not anything big, but we just can't finish here and now tonight. But we should have the trans in, have everything else on, and be ready to roll in the morning. I think I do want to pull it on the dyno, just make sure everything's okay.
Sure.
You know, we want to see if we are getting the power of what we should be. You can probably put in a quick little call to Cy. I doubt I'll be able to get them that fast, but you know, maybe do some touch-ups at the track tomorrow if everything works out all right. So that'll be pretty awesome. This has been a little bit more of a complication than what we thought. So Josh was here with the trans. However, turns out it was not quite the same transmission. Got a 4R75W instead of a 4R70. There's a few small differences. Like, I mean, what was it? The tail shaft was like,
Yeah,
or was
the
it the output shaft?
Like 1/4 inch too long, and it ended up being the tail shaft on the trans.
Yeah, so Laz is sitting here struggling, trying to figure out, man, what the heck? Did the freaking diff move or something? Well, it couldn't get the drive shaft back in there. Had to take the drive shaft off of one of those. But again, it's a good thing that you're the Crown Vic collector. And you said we just broke off the heater.
So I cut it off and it built pressure and started steaming. And
wow.
Yeah. There's actually a room to go down a little bit lower on it.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully I can make that happen and save the day, because I don't want to pull that intake back off.
Yeah, so we've had it up and running. Everything's okay with that, but just small little snags here and there.
The intake hasn't leaked yet.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome though. We might still be able to run it tonight. So I got with Cy, and he's going to send me a file hopefully very, very soon, because they're going to start opening up racing here in about an hour and a half or so. I don't think we're going to get the training to shift unless we manually shift it. So
yeah, not even manually shifting it, it's not happy.
Ooh.
Like, I was in there and I was playing around, and I did get it to shift one time, but it's like first to second, the speedo is wanting to bury itself.
Yeah, apparently, what does it go from, like a 6 to a 24? Is that what it is, or something like that? So yeah, it's reading 4 times higher than what it's supposed to be. So I think we'd probably hit speed limit or whatever that may be before we know it. The other day we were talking about it. I believe you are correct that it's a 450 or a 485 liter per hour pump that we have in there. So the pump should do the job. It's just that maybe our reservoir wasn't quite up to snuff.
It's got it all now.
Yeah, it does. Got this on the dyno here. We got a different style fueling altogether, so we got a lot of stuff to check out. We're about 55 pounds, almost 60 pounds right there. So we might need to make some tweaks to that, but we need to make sure we're not having that big fuel drop there. So we'll find out. Turn it all the way up. Really see what this does air fuel wise. So,
were you watching boost on that or?
No, we got it over there.
Like 15.
Probably made like 15, 16.
Okay.
And it was at that when it cut out.
Yeah.
So it didn't have that.
I don't know. I'm kind of okay with it, really.
It's weird that it does it so noticeable here and not on the road.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, we can run with that. The good thing is we're not having our speed limiter cut off despite our speedo, so it's like we're gonna have to manually shift it no matter what.
Did you go rich on the fuel or anything?
It's full rich right now.
Okay, one thing we didn't check was fuel pressure if we had any drops during the pull.
Yeah, let's look at that. Let's do
one
that.
more?
Let's do that one more, and then like 1.5 gallons of race gas in here just in case it overboosted because of the weather. So
Fuel,
yeah, let's just
fuel
watch.
chemist.
Yeah, I wanted to throw 85 in there, but I'm getting greedy, so.
Fuel pressure was good. It went up to like 80 and slowly came back down to like 60.
Well, this really didn't do much. You know, it's like it did a little, but it didn't do as much as I thought.
It changes a lot in voltage though. Because remember we saw some from 14 to 17 volts.
Let's do this. I do want to throw in 2 gallons of heat and just fiddle around. It'll be fast.
Guy.
Well, I mean, it's like I'm just trying to keep it from knocking.
So tonight is 482, 485.
Well, to be honest, I have no idea how we do it. I'm so proud of our guys, and all the while we were working on customer cars, I know, doing mail orders, editing videos, shipping stuff out, trying to spend time with their family. It is so unbelievable that we can get this stuff done. Somebody said in one of the comments last video, and they were like, we the few do the impossible with next to nothing. And sometimes I really feel like that's true. The fact that we got stuff that wasn't even intended for this car to be able to work and be able to do it in such a tight deadline, dyno the car and still make it to the racetrack, incredible. All right, so this next little part here, this is kind of the finishing up of George doing some porting right here. It is incredibly satisfying. Hope you guys enjoy it. guys, I hope you've enjoyed our porting series. Hopefully that inspires you to get out there and do some of the stuff on your own. We've walked you guys all the way through it. We show you the tools of what we use, some of the processes of how we go through it. Now, I wanted to address something real quick here. A lot of people have been asking about the Legend, which is my dad's car, and we've been dying to get back to that. We do have the wiring harness, and we're going to get back to it hopefully in the next week or two. We've had a couple of projects that have been dragging on a little bit, but we're getting through them. So it's coming, I promise. Also the S10 as well. All right, well, I wanted to leave you guys with a quote. This one says, "Wrong does not cease to be wrong because the majority share in it." And actually I wanted to second that with another one. This one's by Theodore Roosevelt. "In any moment of decision, the best thing you can do is the right thing. The worst thing you can do is nothing." And the song I wanted to leave you guys with here. My kids actually just found this song and I really kind of liked it. And it was "Don't Tread on Me" by Granger Smith. Hope you guys enjoy. God bless you. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you very soon.